I'm Tiffany. Welcome to Towering TBR. So, in today's episode of my top 5, I'm recommending 5 underhyped books. These are all books that got high ratings from me and others, but have less than 15,000 ratings on Goodreads, and not enough people have read these books, so I'm hoping that I can help you find some hidden gems. At number 5, I'm going to talk about the only book I don't own, which is The Darkest Child by Dolores Phillips. This is a heartbreaking coming-of-age story set in the 1950s in the American South. This follows Tangy May. She is one of 10 Black children born to an abusive mother who is also a prostitute. While the kids are mean to Tangy May about the dark complexion of her skin, so was her mom. Her mom belittles her and puts her down and calls her ugly because of her dark skin. Her mother does not have a steady partner, and so she forces all of the children to get jobs in order to provide for the family, even encouraging some of her daughters to go into prostitution like their mother. However, Tangy May is smart and has the opportunity to attend the first integrated high school, and she wants to use education as a way to get out of this horrible situation. But her mother is not going to relinquish her that easily. Tangy May is resilient and strong, and I loved reading this story. I highly encourage you to pick it up. On Goodreads, this currently has a rating of 4.38, so I am not the only person who thought this was great. At number 4, I am recommending Cottonmouths by Kelly J. Ford. This is about Emily. Emily drops out of college and moves back home to a small town in Arkansas. She's feeling quite directionless and doesn't really know what she wants to do, and happens upon a chance meeting of her old high school crush, Jody. Jody has since moved back and now has a baby. After Emily's parents kick her out of her house, she moves in with Jody to take care of the baby and to kind of play house with Jody, this woman who is not interested in her like that. She moves in with Jody and quickly gets sucked into a life that she just doesn't know how to escape. Jody is making meth as a way to support her and her family, and this was just like watching a train wreck. You could see the bad stuff was coming right around the corner, and you just hope something miraculous happens for these characters to not get stuck in some of these bad situations. The writing was incredibly atmospheric, and the characters were so memorable. I highly recommend this book. At number 3, I'm recommending Christadora by Tim Murphy. Christadora is this iconic building in New York City, and we follow kind of an ensemble cast of characters who don't have anything in common at first. You don't get to see the connections until later, except for that they all live in this building. This covers a huge swath of time from the 1980s, when it was home to AIDS activists and junkies, and all the way to the 2020s, when it is gentrified and is home to several rich artists. This focuses on many difficult themes, such as AIDS, drug use, mental illness, and adoption trauma, and as well as family, love, and loss. This was a gut punch of a story, but so dynamic and wonderful, and I can't praise it enough. At number 2, I'm recommending The Sleepwalker's Guide to Dancing by Mira Jacob. If you think you might have heard her name before, she was a bit of a booktube darling when she came out with her graphic memoir called Good Talk. I read that and loved it so much that I picked up her debut novel. This follows Amina. She is an Indian American woman, and one day her mom calls and says that her dad is talking to ghosts and that she needs to fly in and kind of help take care of the family. What we get is this sprawling family story going all the way back to when the family lived in India, seeing what happened to make them want to leave India to move to the United States. And we get to see this family as they individually try to deal with different traumatic events. This was such an authentic feeling story. These characters were messy and real, and even though this is over 500 pages, it read incredibly quickly because I got so invested in this family's story. I highly recommend that you pick it up. At number 1, I'm recommending What the Fireflies Knew by Kai Harris. This is a coming-of-age story about KB. She is an 11-year-old girl. After her father dies, her mother takes KB and KB's older sister to their grandpa, who they don't know. The mother and the grandfather are estranged, and as the story progresses, we see what happened to KB's dad, where the mother is now, and what happened to cause this rift between the family members. She starts out as a very naive little girl, and along the way learns some really hard truths. This has a bunch of trigger warnings. It is an incredibly heavy read, but it is so worth it. The writing is gorgeous, and when I found out that this was her debut novel, I was stunned. I cannot wait till Kai Harris puts out another book because this was just gorgeous. In my review, I wrote beautiful, devastating, and ultimately hopeful, and I think that that really sums up this book. Okay, so those are the 5 books that I think are underhyped and that you should pick up. Tell me, do you have any hidden gems that you love that you feel more people need to read? If so, let me know in the comments below. Let's have a chat and talk about these books. Thanks for joining me. Bye.